red square isn't exactly an interesting main character. So we are going to make it a dog. So you're going to click on the symbol library and we're going to find dog 2. So I'm going to search for dog 2. There's dog 2. So now dog 2 is part of it. And the reason why I want it is because dog 2 has multiple costumes for walking. We do not need the third costume, so click on the third costume and throw it out. So now we need to add some code for our dog. So we will start with the code for the dog like we do all the other code. So we'll start the code with the event when flag is clicked. Remember, you need to be on the dog. Okay, so we want to set the rotation left, right, so he's facing the right direction. So I will go to motion and I will find the set rotation, which is lower down. So set rotation style to left, right. Then we want to make him a little smaller because he's kind of big for our maze. So I'm going to set his size to 50%. So, that is under looks. So I'll find set size and I'm going to make that 50. So it's going to make him half the size when we click on him. Then I want him to point in the direction of 90, so he's facing this way as well. So I'll go back to motion, point in direction, 90 degrees, and then I want him to appear. So I'll go to looks, and I'll make him show. Now, this is the part that is going to make him cover up the red square. So I want it to happen the entire time. So I'm going to go to Control and find a forever block. So always, he's going to go to the player block. It is called player block. So I'll go to motion. I will find the go to, and remember, it doesn't say player block initially, but I have the drop down menu to change it to player block. Notice it also has platforms. So whatever sprites you add, it adds it here. Then we wanted to make sure that it's going to appear on the front layer. So I'm going to go back to motion. I'm going to go back to looks, and I'm going to say go to. So I got to scroll down and got go to front layer inside the forever block. Then I need a couple of if statements that control the movement of my dog so it moves like the square. So I'm going to go to control and I need 2 if statements, one for moving in each direction. So here's one if then, here's another if then. The first if then is going to be for the left arrow. So I'm going to go to sensing and say, what arrow am I pressing? I am pressing the left arrow. So when the left arrow is pressed, I want him to point in the direction of -90, which is this way. So I will go to motion and I will find point in direction, but I'm going to change it to -90. So I can either rotate it or right it. Now I'm at -90. So this will make sure the dog faces left when you press the left one. I wanted to go to next costume. And what next costume does, it's going to make the dog look like he's walking because we have the 2 costumes that show different leg formations. Then my next if is going to be for what if it happens when you click the right arrow. So when the right arrow key is pressed, what's going to happen? We want to point in the direction of 90. So I will find the motion, point in direction 90, and next costume. So he switches costume again. Now take a look. I click on the green flag. The dog goes to wherever the red square is. Now we're going to give your dog a little more personality. We're going to make him howl at the end of the game. We're going to go and add a new sprite. Once again, we are going to look for the dog sprite. So I'm going to type in dog. This time what we're going to do is we're going to only keep the dog costume of C, the third one. So I'm going to delete A. and B. So I just have C. Then we're going to rename this sprite Howling Dog. So I'm going to go down here under name and name it Howling Dog. Then I'm going to find the sound library of wolf howl. So I'm going to search for it. Wolf howl. And now I have that and I'm ready to code. So we're going to add these two code blocks. So these are the two code blocks we need to add for the dog to appear when the game ends. So when the green flag is clicked, we're going to hide it because we want the dog not to show up at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to go to looks and I'm going to take hide. We want him to set to 50% size so he matches the same size as the other dog. So I'm going to set, looks and find set size to 50%. And then I don't want him to rotate at all. So I'm going to set the rotation style to not rotate. So here is set rotation style. Don't rotate. Next one is about game over. So we want when they receive the broadcast message of game over to know the game is over and this is when it's going to appear. So what we want the howling dog to do is go to the player block. And we want him to go to the front layer because then he's going to be in front of your other dog. So I will go to front layer underneath looks. Way down at the bottom, so go to front layer. We want it to point in the direction of 0 degrees. So point in the direction and I can either type in 0 or I can turn my dial to 0. Then we want him to appear. So we'll go to looks and we'll show him. And that's when the sound needs to start. So start sound, and I need the wolf sound. So here it is, start wolf howl. Last thing we need to do since we have our howling dog appear is we need to put a message on our dog 2 so dog 2 disappears and we don't see that one. So I'm going to go to when dog 2 receives the message game over, we want to hide dog 2 because then we will see our howling dog. And that's how you add your character of the dog instead of the red square.